Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Hope everyone is doing amazing today. As always, these messages will be received in divine time and for those who need to hear them. And if they don't apply, please let them fly. You're always welcome to come back for the next one. However, I do encourage you to hang out because there might be something in here for you to hear, especially if this came by your feed. Okay, today there's a very specific message. It's actually a two-part message. The first part is for, I don't know exactly who it's for, but it's for an individual or individuals out there who thought that having a seance during a party was going to be a good idea. Okay. Now, what they're telling me is that this seance that you had, it's, during this party, there was people were feeling bored. There was alcohol going on. There was even some smoking going on. And again, there's no judgment here. But seances mixed with substance is never a good idea. Never. Okay. Because unfortunately, during this seance, you happen to open portals, that are now left open, especially because you did this under the influence. Okay. It was very careless. And again, no judgment. We all make mistakes. Okay. But this is why things have been going haywire in your life. You've invited some darker energies in. Okay. I don't want to say darker. Let me use the word negative because I don't like to use the word dark. But you've invited some negative energies in, unfortunately, and they have been creating havoc in your life. You know, some people have been finding things missing in their house, things being misplaced. You've invited like what I'm getting is jokester spirits, jokester energies. Okay, that are messing around with you. Okay. And again, you did this inadvertently only because this was done during a party and it was mixed with alcohol and other substance use. And like I said before, this is never a good idea. Now, what needs to happen is one of two things. You need to cleanse this space if you want this activity to stop. Okay. You might need some professional assistance with this. And I do recommend you go that route, especially if you're unfamiliar. Unfortunately, a lot of people see things on TV like those ghost hunting shows and whatnot. They think that they can do whatever they're seeing on TV, and it's never a smart way to go. The spiritual realm is not something to mess with. It's not to be used as a hangout game during a party. Okay, so it's very first of all, it's very disrespectful to the spirit world. I mean, think of it, from the spirit world's perspective. How would you feel if you felt like you were some type of a circus act or something to be, played around with? It is disrespectful. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize that. And it can be exciting and intriguing because we all have that desire to want to know what happens on the other side, and we want to know what happens, you know, you know, in the spiritual realm or what it's about. And it's okay to be curious, but the thing is to educate yourself about it first, and don't mess with things that you don't know, how to deal with. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, when people do these things, they invite stuff in that they didn't expect to have. There's also a person I'm speaking to right now who thought it might be a good idea to utilize these spirits to try to uh, seek revenge on a person or a group of individuals. Again, this is not a good idea. Okay, because again, this is negative energy that you're putting out there, and when you're asking a spirit to do things for you, there are certain rules that apply, and payment is going to be expected. And I don't mean monetarily. Okay, but it's just the way it works. It's the way energy works. It's the way the spirit world works. And when you send out negative energy of any kind, whether in a thought, jokingly, unjokingly, you know, you have to pay that back. It has to come back. Energy returns. We put out good energy and good energy comes back. We put out bad energy and bad energy comes back. It doesn't always happen automatically. Sometimes it takes time to build up. Okay. And other times it happens instantaneously. For instance, like I mentioned earlier, those who are dealing with these trickster energies that are now, unleashed in their environment, and they're wondering why their keys are missing, somebody's keys are missing. Um, I'm getting something about a book that's missing. You're wondering where the book went. Somebody else is missing a shirt. I don't know who this is going to make sense for, but this is what's coming through right now. At the end of this video, I do have some names that will help you further confirm that this message is for you. But like I said, unfortunately, you've invited these tricksters in. Now, the portal is open. Okay. You didn't close it correctly, you opened it. Anytime you participate in a seance, whether it's a Ouija board, whether it's just hanging around in a circle, if you're unprotected while you're doing this, there's a whole process that needs to happen. This is why I don't suggest that anybody go out there and just start engaging in this type of activity. Okay. Some of you have been receiving nightmares. Okay. Somebody's unable to sleep. Something keeps waking you up in the middle of the night. You feel something grabbing at your foot. Again, this is those, one of those trickster energies. Okay. And, if you don't want to continue to live like this, you have to take some steps now to help, restore the balance in your home, because now things are unbalanced. Okay. And it doesn't just apply to your home. They can follow you. They can follow in your car. They can follow you. They just hang out with you. You invite them in. It's kind of like, a stray animal. You feed a stray animal, and it's going to come back for more food. And it's the same thing. You give spirits your energy, and they're going to come back for more food. That's their food, your energy. And your fear, when you admit that fear, okay, when you start to, experience these things, or the anger or the frustration, they're feeding off of that. And you're intensifying the behavior by doing so. Okay. Now, this is a two-part message, because there's a second half is going to be for, and this will be for very specific individuals. There's a group of cross watchers out there, cross watchers who attack, spiritual channels like my own. Okay. Now, this group of individuals, unfortunately, this part of the message, pretends to be Christian and holy and goes to church and whatnot. They pretend to be very religious and holier than thou, and they're better than everyone else. This group of individuals, unfortunately, under the guise of a narcissist, have been engaging in sending out negative energies, consorting with spirits, calling upon ancestors, okay, thinking that they won't have to pay, especially calling on ancestors and consorting with spirits to cause negativity and chaos in innocent people's lives without knowing the entire story, okay? Unfortunately, these individuals um, have invited negative entities into their homes and into their lives that are now following them, because those negative energies they were sending out towards others is coming back. And I'm using them as an example, okay, because they're actually currently experiencing it right now, and things are going to get worse for them, okay? But the first group did not do this intentionally. It was done more as a party game. I was also seeing the game taking place with someone tried to use a cup with uh, with corresponding letters made out of cardboard pieces of paper, some kind of a makeshift Ouija board. That's for the first group, and I didn't mean to get off track here. But getting back to the second group of the cross watchers, they have been consistently consorting with spirits and calling upon negative entities to attack innocent people, okay, to elevate their status, to protect themselves. They're going to be exposed now by those same spirits. They're going to be attacked now by those same spirits, because the energy is going to be returned. They didn't realize who they were sending the energy to. And that's another part of the message. When you're trying to send out negativity to people, make sure you understand who they are and what their spiritual ranking is, because people on a high spiritual ranking, many of them are protected. Like myself, I've mentioned this earlier. People like myself are very highly protected. I am personally very highly protected. I have many protectors around me. So I don't have to engage in lower vibrational consorting with spirits, or trying to cast out spells and whatnot. It's never something that I did, never something that I had to do. But because I'm protected, anyone that sends things to me gets it returned 100-fold to them. Okay. And it doesn't matter if they didn't know, if they weren't aware, or if they just thought they were hanging out and being an innocent bystander. Even if you said nothing and you hung out with this group, unfortunately, the negative energy is going to be returned to you now, because you decided to listen to a person that you shouldn't have listened to. It's not just one person, it's actually two people who are heading this. They're working as a family unit. This is a very tight knit family group and friends that have been consistently working to, pretending to be religious, attacking spiritual channels, not just mine, but others as well. Okay. They have been warned consistently. Out of the goodness of my heart, I warned them to try to mitigate some of the negativity that's going to be returning to them, but they thought it was a joke and they continued to move forward with it. Unfortunately, now, you know, they won't just have to pay their debt, their karmic debt, solely. Okay, it's going to leak out onto family members, elderly family members, children. okay, will receive the karma alongside with them for something that they did. And it's unfortunate, but it's the way the spiritual world works. And this is why I suggest nobody mess around with these things if they don't know what they're doing. Just because you watch a ghost show and you see them perform a seance doesn't mean you have the credentials to do so. Okay. And a lot of times, more often than not, those shows shouldn't even be doing that because it is dangerous. It's not a game. The spiritual world is not a game. And unfortunately, many people think that it is. And there's people out there, like the second group of cross watchers, who think they're protected because they go to church. It don't work that way, unfortunately. The energy you put out, whether it's good or bad, will come back to you. Okay. Like I said, I do have some names and some locations that might resonate to help confirm this video for you. And I'll give you that in a second. Let me just get my glasses on so I can see. Okay, names today. I have Jamal, Charles, Molly, Sandra, Beverly, Christine, Nadine, Chantel, Catherine, David, and Derek. I have some states: the state of Nevada, Ohio, Kansas, and California, West Virginia, and I'm also getting Plainfield. Okay, this name might belong to a city where someone lives. Okay, I know in New York there's Plainfield, Long Island. I don't know if this is Plainfield, Long Island, or if Plainfield exists elsewhere. I'm not sure. But anyway, hopefully this message reaches those who need to hear it. I want to thank everyone for stopping by. I want to again welcome the new subscribers and thank you for the subscribing. If you gave a like, I appreciate that. It helps the algorithm to get out there so these messages reach the intended people. All right, that being said, we're going to leave it there. Have a great night, day, evening, whenever you receive this, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.